Hey y'all, I am Kirk and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most beloved games of all time, Diablo, and its new upcoming sequel, Diablo IV. This classic dungeon crawler has captured the hearts of millions of players since its first release in 1996. But what is it about Diablo that makes it such a great game? Can Diablo IV live to its hype and expectations? Well, let's find out. First of all, Diablo has some of the most addictive gameplays you'll ever experience. The core loop of the game is simple. You explore dungeons, fight monsters, and collect loot. But the way this loop is executed is nothing short of brilliant. The combat is fast-paced and satisfying, with huge variety of different enemy types to keep you on your toes. And a loot system is incredibly well designed, with randomized drops that keep you constantly searching for better gear. It's the kind of a game where you can easily lose track of time because you're having so much fun. This past weekend, we had the opportunity to play Diablo IV Beta, and it helped us to get hands-on experience on how the game will feel. Let's talk about the gameplay of Diablo IV. The first impression of this game was that it felt incredible. One of the biggest positives was the sound. Playing the game and listening to the ambient sound of music in the background made the game very immersive. Other factors such as sound of crackling torches, burning flames, water tides hitting the shore made it seem like you're there. The character sounds like footsteps, monster sounds, and skill sounds were also spot on, and they didn't feel like they're out of place. Speaking of footsteps, the character movements did feel very smooth and responsive when not lagging or rubber banding. The graphics of this game were also top-notch, and probably one of the best, if not the best, when it comes to ARPG genre games. Another thing that makes Diablo so great is the variety of character classes you can play as. Whether you prefer to be a melee fighter, a range attacker, or a spellcaster, there's a class that will suit your playstyle. And each class has its own unique set of skills and abilities, which means you can play the game multiple times and have completely different experience each time. I played about 20 hours of beta in the first weekend and tried all three classes that were available. I started with the rogue, then the barbarian, and finally with the sorcerer. No matter which class I played, the combat felt great. There was some obvious balance issues in terms of game pace with each class. It did feel like one class was more powerful than the other, and early game definitely felt easier to play on as a range class, but all three classes could clear the content without any issue, and I do suspect that things will shift later in the game progression. But it's not just the gameplay that makes Diablo so great. The game's setting is a huge part of its appeal. The world of Diablo is dark, gothic, and atmospheric, with sense of foreboding that pervades every corner of the game. From creepy music to eerie sound effects, Diablo creates a mood that only few games can match. And the game's story, while simple, is effective in keeping you engaged through your adventure. And finally, we can't talk about Diablo without mentioning the multiplayer mode. Playing with friends is absolute blast. Whether you're teaming up to take on tougher enemies or competing against each other to see who can clear the dungeons faster or get better loot. And with the game's open world system, it's easier than ever to find other players to join you on your adventures. During the Diablo IV beta, there were also some obvious signs of things that do need to be improved. Things such as the dungeon layout, the iconic map overlay, zone scaling, to just name a few. Since this is beta, we hope by release time or post-launch, things will get addressed so we can enjoy Diablo IV. This upcoming weekend, Diablo IV will have an open beta again, and 2 additional classes will be available for us to try, the Necromancer and the Druid. If you get a chance, try it out and see how it feels. So there you have it. After playing Diablo IV beta, we can say it is still just as fun as some of its predecessors like Diablo II was. Whether you're a veteran player or someone who's never tried the game before, I highly recommend to give it a shot. If you liked this video and want to see more content in the future, please consider hitting that like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the Dungeons of Sanctuary.